What happens when America's sweetheart meets her match in the most unexpected television showdown of the year? When Jennifer Aniston walked onto The View set that morning, she thought she was just promoting her latest project. Little did she know she was about to engage in a verbal battle that would leave the studio audience speechless and social media in complete chaos. By the end of this interview, one of them would be escorted off set, careers would hang in the balance, and the entire entertainment industry would be talking about what went down. But before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because you're not going to believe how this all unfolded. The tension was palpable from the moment Jennifer Aniston stepped onto the View stage. She had been making her promotional rounds for weeks, but something felt different about this appearance. The usual warm welcome seemed forced, and Joy Behar's smile looked more like a challenge than genuine hospitality. "Well, well, well, look who decided to grace us with her presence," Joy said as Jennifer took her seat, her tone carrying an edge that made the other hosts shift uncomfortably. Jennifer forced a laugh. "Thanks for having me, Joy. It's always interesting being here." "Interesting," Joy repeated, leaning back in her chair with a smirk. "That's one way to put it. You know, Jennifer, I've been watching your career for decades, and I have to ask, when did you become such an expert on everything?" The question hit like a slap. Jennifer's media-trained smile faltered for just a moment before she recovered. "I'm sorry. What do you mean by that?" "Oh, come on," Joy waved her hand dismissively. "You've been giving interviews left and right about politics, social issues, health advice. I mean, you're an actress. A very successful one, I'll give you that. But since when did a sitcom make someone qualified to lecture the rest of us about how to live our lives?" The other hosts, Whoopi, Sarah, Sunny, and Alyssa, exchanged glances. This wasn't the typical celebrity interview format they were used to. Whoopi tried to jump in. "Joy, maybe we should talk about Jennifer's new project first." But Joy wasn't having it. No, I think this is important. Jennifer here has been very vocal about her opinions lately, and I think our audience deserves to know where this newfound wisdom is coming from." Jennifer's jaw tightened slightly, but her voice remained controlled. "Joy, I've never claimed to be an expert on anything. When I speak about issues I care about, it's as a citizen, not as someone who thinks they know better than anyone else. A citizen with a platform that reaches millions." Joy shot back. "And with that platform comes responsibility, doesn't it? But you seem to think you can just say whatever pops into your head and we should all listen because you were on Friends." The audience was dead silent. Even the camera operators seemed to sense that something was going wrong. Jennifer's publicist, watching from backstage, was frantically trying to get the producer's attention. "I think you're being incredibly unfair," Jennifer said. Her voice still steady but with a new steel in it. "I've used my platform to support causes I believe in, to encourage people to vote, to promote kindness and understanding. If that bothers you, then maybe the problem isn't with me." Joy laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Oh, there she goes. The victim card. You know what bothers me, Jennifer? The fact that you think being rich and famous gives you some sort of moral authority over the rest of us regular people." "Regular people?" Jennifer's eyebrows shot up. "Joy, you're sitting on a national television show that millions of people watch. You have your own platform. You influence people every single day. How are you more regular than I am?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Joy's face flushed slightly, and for a moment, she seemed caught off guard by Jennifer's directness. "At least I worked for this," Joy snapped back. "I didn't get here because I was pretty and had good timing with a TV show that became popular." Gasps could be heard from the audience. Whoopi looked mortified, and Sunny actually put her hand over her mouth in shock, but Jennifer didn't back down. "Worked for this?" Jennifer repeated slowly. "Joy, are you seriously suggesting that I haven't worked for my career? That everything I've achieved is just because of my looks? I'm saying that some of us had to claw our way up from nothing." Joy replied, her voice getting louder. "Some of us didn't have agents and managers and daddy's connections to pave the way." That was the line. Jennifer's composure finally cracked, and when she spoke, her voice was deadly quiet but filled with fury. "You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. None. You sit there, making assumptions about my life, my background, my journey, and you couldn't be more wrong. But you know what, Joy? This isn't about me anymore. This is about you and whatever issues you're dealing with that make you think it's okay to attack someone who came here as your guest." Joy leaned forward, clearly not backing down. "Oh, please, spare me the righteous indignation. You Hollywood types are all the same. You live in your bubble, completely disconnected from reality, and then you want to tell the rest of us how to think and feel." "Hollywood types?" Jennifer's voice rose slightly. "You mean people who work in entertainment? Like you do? On this entertainment show? Or do you somehow think that what you do here is more legitimate than what actors do?" The other hosts were trying to figure out how to regain control of the situation, but it was clear that this train had left the station, and there was no stopping it now. "What I do here is real," Joy insisted. "I talk about real issues that affect real people. I don't pretend to be someone else for a living and then expect people to take me seriously when I step out of character." Jennifer stared at her for a long moment, and when she spoke, her words were measured and devastating. "Joy, everything about this conversation has been real. Your jealousy, your bitterness, your need to tear down someone you invited onto your show, that's all very real. And you know what else is real? The fact that you're showing everyone watching exactly who you are as a person." The silence that followed Jennifer's words was deafening. Joy's face had gone from flushed to pale, and for the first time since the interview began, she seemed genuinely speechless. But that moment of quiet didn't last long. "Who I am as a person?" Joy's voice cracked slightly, but she quickly recovered, her tone becoming even more venomous. "You want to talk about who I am? I'm someone who's earned every single thing I have. I'm someone who doesn't hide behind a pretty smile and expect the world to hand me everything on a silver platter." Jennifer shook her head slowly, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. "You really can't help yourself, can you? Even now, even after showing everyone watching how petty and mean-spirited you can be, you're doubling down." "Petty?" Joy's voice rose to almost a shriek. "I'm petty for asking legitimate questions about your qualifications to speak on serious issues?" "No, Joy," Jennifer said, her voice calm again but with an underlying intensity that was somehow more frightening than shouting. "You're petty for turning what should have been a simple promotional interview into a personal attack. You're petty for making assumptions about my background without knowing anything about it. And you're petty for thinking that tearing me down somehow builds you up." Whoopi finally managed to jump in, her voice strained. "Ladies, maybe we should take a breath here. And..." "No," Joy interrupted, pointing a finger at Jennifer. "I want to hear her explain how someone who plays pretend for a living thinks they're qualified to influence political discourse in this country." Jennifer's eyes flashed with anger. "Plays pretend? Is that what you think acting is?" "Joy, I've been working professionally since I was 22 years old. I've studied my craft, I've worked with some of the most talented people in the industry, and I've built a career that has lasted over 3 decades. But even if none of that were true, even if I had just stumbled into success, that wouldn't give you the right to treat me with such disrespect." "Disrespect?" Joy laughed harshly. "You want to talk about disrespect? How about the disrespect you show to working people when you lecture them about politics from your mansion in Bel Air?" "My mansion?" Jennifer's voice was incredulous. "Joy, what is this really about? Because I'm starting to think this has nothing to do with my political opinions and everything to do with some personal issue you have with me." Joy's face twisted into something ugly. "Personal issue? Don't flatter yourself. I just think someone needs to call out the hypocrisy of celebrities who think their fame gives them the right to influence how people vote. And who made you that someone?" Jennifer shot back. "Who appointed you the gatekeeper of who gets to have opinions in this country? Because last I checked, we live in a democracy where everyone has the right to speak their mind." "Oh, spare me the civics lesson," Joy sneered. "We both know that's not how it really works. Some voices carry more weight than others, and yours carries weight you didn't earn." The accusation hung in the air like poison. Jennifer stared at Joy for a long moment, and when she spoke, her voice was dangerously quiet. "I didn't earn it?" "Joy, I've been working in this industry for over 30 years. I've been rejected more times than I can count. I've had failures that nearly ended my career. I've dealt with public scrutiny, personal attacks, and yes, people like you who think they know everything about my life based on tabloid headlines. If that's not earning it, Then I don't know what island. But Joy wasn't finished. Working in the industry? She repeated mockingly. You mean getting paid millions of dollars to memorize lines and look good on camera? That's not work, Jennifer. That's winning the lottery. The other hosts looked mortified. Sarah tried to intervene. Joy, I think we're getting off track here. No, we're not. Joy cut her off. We're finally getting to the truth. The truth is that Jennifer Aniston, like so many other celebrities, lives in a fantasy world where she thinks her success makes her wise, where she thinks her platform gives her the right to tell the rest of us how to live. Jennifer's composure finally snapped completely. She stood up from her chair, and for a moment, it looked like she might actually walk off the set. Instead, she turned to face Joy directly, her voice shaking with controlled fury. You want the truth, Joy? Here's the truth. I came here today to talk about a project I'm proud of, to connect with the audience, and to have what I hoped would be a pleasant conversation. Instead, I've been subjected to a character assassination by someone who clearly has their own agenda. My agenda? Joy stood up as well, the two women now facing each other across the table. My agenda is honesty. My agenda is calling out the nonsense when I see it. No, Jennifer said firmly. Your agenda is cruelty. Your agenda is making yourself feel important by tearing down someone else. And you know what's really sad? You're doing it on national television, in front of an audience that includes people who might have looked up to you. Joy's face was now completely red. Don't you dare lecture me about my responsibility to the audience. I've been fighting for working people and speaking truth to power longer than you've been famous. Speaking truth to power? Jennifer laughed, but there was no humor in it. Joy, what power do you think I have over you? I'm a guest on your show. You control this conversation. You have all the power here, and you're using it to bully someone who can't fight back on equal terms. Bully? Joy's voice cracked. I'm not a bully. I'm a journalist asking tough questions. No, you're not, Jennifer said quietly, but her words carried to every corner of the studio. A journalist asks questions to get information. A journalist tries to understand their subject. What you're doing isn't journalism, Joy. It's just mean. The word mean seemed to hit Joy like a physical blow. For a moment, her mask slipped completely, and something vulnerable flashed across her face. But then the anger returned, stronger than ever. Mean? You think I'm being mean? I'm being honest. I'm saying what everyone else is thinking, but is too polite to say. You celebrities waltz around like you're special, like your opinions matter more than everyone else's, and I'm sick of it. Then, why did you invite me on your show? Jennifer asked, and the simplicity of the question seemed to catch Joy off guard. If you think so little of celebrities, if you think our opinions don't matter, why do you constantly have us on as guests? Joy opened her mouth to respond, then closed it. For the first time since the interview began, she seemed genuinely at a loss for words. Jennifer pressed her advantage. I'll tell you why. Because celebrity guests get ratings. Because people want to hear what we have to say. Whether you think we deserve to be heard or not. You need us, Joy. Your show needs us. But apparently, that doesn't stop you from treating us like garbage when we're sitting right in front of you. The truth of it was undeniable, and everyone in the studio knew it. Joy's face went through a series of expressions, confusion, anger, and something that might have been shame, before settling back into defensive hostility. Joy's mouth opened and closed several times like a fish gasping for air. The realization that Jennifer had just exposed the fundamental contradiction at the heart of her attack seemed to hit her like a freight train. But instead of backing down, Joy did what cornered animals do. She lashed out even more viciously. Don't you dare turn this around on me, Joy snarled. Don't you dare make this about the show or ratings or any of that. This is about you thinking you're better than everyone else. Jennifer shook her head slowly, and when she spoke, her voice was filled with something that sounded almost like pity. Joy, I have never, not once, said or implied that I think I'm better than anyone else. That's all coming from you. Those are your words, your assumptions, your insecurities. My insecurities? Joy's voice reached a pitch that was almost painful to hear. You're calling me insecure? I've been in this business longer than you, I've worked harder than you, and I've never had anything handed to me on a silver platter like you have. There it is again, Jennifer said quietly. That assumption that everything was handed to me. Joy, you don't know anything about my journey. You don't know about the years of waiting tables while going to auditions. You don't know about the rejections, the failures, the times I questioned whether I should give up and go home. But even if you did know all of that, it wouldn't matter, would it? Because you've already decided who I am based on your own prejudices. Whoopi was making frantic gestures to the producers, clearly trying to find a way to end this disaster, but the train wreck was too compelling to look away from. The audience sat in stunned silence, witnessing what was clearly the most uncomfortable television moment in recent memory. Joy's face was now a mask of pure rage. Prejudices? You're accusing me of prejudice? That's rich, coming from someone who's never had to face real discrimination or real struggle. Jennifer's eyes flashed. Real struggle? Joy, you know nothing about my life. Nothing. But you know what? I'm not going to sit here and list my struggles for you like I'm applying for some sort of suffering scholarship. I don't need your approval or validation. Good, Joy shot back. Because you're not going to get it. You want to know what I think? I think you're everything that's wrong with celebrity culture. You're entitled, you're out of touch, and you actually believe that being pretty and famous makes you wise. The cruelty in Joy's voice was so raw, so personal, that even the camera operators seemed to flinch, but Jennifer didn't flinch. Instead, she stood up straighter, and when she spoke, her voice was steel wrapped in silk. Joy, in the past 20 minutes, you have personally attacked me, made assumptions about my background, dismissed my career as worthless, and now you're reducing me to nothing more than a pretty face. And you've done all of this while I've been a guest on your show, someone you invited here. If anyone watching this thinks that's acceptable behavior, then I truly feel sorry for them. Joy was practically vibrating with fury. Don't you dare take the high road with me. Don't you dare act like you're some innocent victim here. You came on this show with your agenda, pushing your political views, acting like your opinion matters more than anyone else's. My agenda? Jennifer's voice was incredulous. Joy, I came here to talk about a movie. A movie. You're the one who turned this into a political discussion. You're the one who made this personal, and now you're trying to blame me for your behavior? The accusation seemed to break something in Joy. Her face contorted with rage, and she pointed a shaking finger at Jennifer. You know what? You're right. This is personal. I am sick and tired of people like you. I'm sick of celebrities who think they can use their fame to influence elections. I'm sick of actors who think memorizing lines makes them qualified to give advice. And I'm especially sick of entitled princesses who waltz in here expecting to be treated with kid gloves. The venom in Joy's voice was so intense that several audience members actually gasped audibly. Sunny looked like she was about to cry, and Sarah had her head in her hands. But Jennifer didn't back down. Lee, there it is, Jennifer said quietly. The real Joy Behar. Not the comedian, not the political commentator, not the television host. Just someone filled with so much anger and resentment that she can't stand to see other people succeed. Joy's face went white, then red, then white again. How dare you, she whispered. How dare you sit there and psychoanalyze me? I'm not psychoanalyzing you, Joy. I'm just observing what everyone else can see. You're angry, you're bitter, and for some reason you've decided that I'm a suitable target for all that rage. Joy stood up so abruptly that her chair rolled backward. That's it. I've had enough of this. I don't have to sit here and listen to some washed-up sitcom star tell me who I am. Washed up? Jennifer repeated, and for the first time, she actually laughed. Joy. This interview is going to be all over social media within the hour. People are going to watch this, and they're going to see exactly how you treat your guests. They're going to see you attack someone unprovoked, make personal insults, and then call them washed up when they defend themselves. If anyone's career is at risk here, it's not mine. The truth of that statement hit everyone in the studio at the same time. Joy's face went through a series of expressions as she realized what she had just done on national television. But instead of apologizing or trying to salvage the situation, she doubled down one final time. Get her out of here, Joy said, her voice shaking with rage. I want her off my set now. Whoopi finally found her voice. Joy, you can't just... I can and I will, Joy interrupted. This is my segment, and I want her gone. Jennifer stood up calmly, gathering her dignity around her like a shield.